Okay.
Hey, this is Matrice Jeter, and I am here with the dynamic entrepreneur, artist, fashion designer, Jasmine Agape. How you doing today?
I'm well, darling. How are you?
Hey, I cannot complain. All is well. It's a beautiful day today here in Atlanta. So,
Yes.
nothing to complain about.
That's my city.
Okay. Hello. But anyway, I'm just going to start and ask you, I know that you're an artist, and how would you describe your style of music, and what is your philosophy behind your music?
I have an old school style of music, I'd say. Neo-soul is kind of a new genre, but, we were all listening to Tracy Chapman and stuff when we was little. So, it's a part of me that is really old school messages just for the right now. You can only be of the time that you are in. So I could only claim, old school, because my topics, all of that, I don't really make music to dance to. I would rather say I make it to cry to. I make it to get over something, to get through stuff. So it's a little bit of a different twist in, what music is for us today.
Okay.
And what else did you ask me?
I also asked you, what is your philosophy behind your music?
Oh, I probably kind of said a little bit of that, in the first answer, but to really uplift and to use it as a tool for liberation. Definitely not, I'm not really in trend with anything. I feel like the stuff that goes on with, mankind is across the board, the things we want and desire, the hardships that we, have to overcome in the midst of getting to those places. So my philosophy on music is to heal.
Okay. So healing words. I like that. Okay, girl. Well, I know that you're a solo artist, but you have a couple of group projects also. So what are the names of your groups, and explain the concept of each? And
well, the main group that I'm known to be a part of is a duo, and it's Cosmic Blue, and that's with BLUU. And it's me and a sister named Freedom. And so that is something that came together because she's a poet. I sing, play the guitar. She drums and things as well. And together we do an event called Cinnamon Sweets. And that's something that I brought when I came here to Columbus because it was out of my desire to have a place that was the open mic, but for artists. For individual artists, not just really for entertainers, but for people who were writing their own music and, coming from that place. So Cosmic Blue, people just saw us perform so much because we do this event every second Saturday. And it's been going for about over a year. I think might be somewhere here close to 2 years.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Okay, well, I'll tell you what are the pros and cons of performing with a group and working on a group project versus solo projects?
Well, it's definitely interesting because that would take me into the second group that I was a part of here since I moved. It's called All-Star Jammers, and it's a homie that's here from Antigua who is he's a soca man. He brought his thing and what he comes from and infused that energy here because it's a reggae town here in Columbus, Ohio. But the soca type of energy is a little bit different. It's more for the dance, for the free up, for the fun. So that's what All-Star Jammers is. So it's an all-male group, and I was the only female in the group. So that's already an issue when it's all men, which is a lot of what happens here in the music industry. And just being able to do what it is that I do and be true to my own integrity as an artist while doing other songs and covering some music that people are loving, And I love the energy of being a part of the band, but I also wasn't really sure how to completely free up in the situation either.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really interesting. So how was it working with the all-male group versus working with women? Is it much of a difference?
Yeah, it is. It's a very different dynamic. These brothers I have so much love for these brothers, though. I mean, I work really well with men, period. That's never been a problem with me. But when it comes to my music, it's like we really do have to do the boy-girl dance and be more in tune to, they have to be in tune to, like, the feeling of what it is, because I don't come with tablatures, or something that they've heard before. So it has been a bonding process to allow them to kind of just feel me versus just, coming and hearing. And, they seem to enjoy it. Every time we rock out, I get nothing but hugs and love that we always love to rock out with, because I allow everyone that space of freedom to just kind of move around. Because I like that, I like jazz, I like Robert Glasper, I like Michelle, those type of artists that are bringing a plethora of sound all at once. That's generally my type of vibe, somewhere you can get lost in, and it could be 8 words, and it's a whole song. We've been going 15 minutes.
Right. Okay. Well, have you released an album, and is that something that you're working on in the future, in the near future?
Yes, definitely I am working on it. I haven't. I've worked on several projects, just being in Atlanta. My sister Q, Cypher House, she got a really dope album out to heaven. A little bit on that, and, just really staying in the studio, learning the process and tweaking what sound. I want to make sure that when I play it, it's as organic as it is if you were listening to me live. That's my thing. I don't want to get to the point where it's over digitized and everything kind of gets to feeling a lot more contrived. Even though I want it polished, I want it to still have that organic feeling. So the first album is called Catharsis, Confessions of a Medicine Woman. And so I'm in the studio working on that. It's a dope producer here, Crate Digger, one of my brothers, and just along with other musicians that I've met through the time of being a performer and hosting Cinnamon Sweets. So just getting a nice organic feel of people who know how to just like play off of the gut, so that a lot of it can be created versus and I want you to play this, and this.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's really been potluck style.
Right. Sorry. How did you come up with that name for that album?
Catharsis?
Yeah.
Well, because that's what it's about for me. Every song that I've ever written all come from a place of something to get over, something that needed to be gotten over and something to use in order to get over a thing. It's all come from the lessons and like high energy of some sort. Most of the time, if it's a really emotional song, I cry when I'm writing it. I've cried on stage. I'd have made other people cry. That to me right. is what it's for. And so people need something cathartic for themselves. Everybody, I think, holds it together so well, but a lot of times that's what keeps us stuck.
Okay, makes sense. Well, you know what? I know that you've experienced the music scene there in Ohio and also in Atlanta. So what aspects of the music scene do you like the most in both cities? And what are some things that you like the least in both cities?
Aspects I like the most and the least. Well, I mean, growing up, really, I have to start with Atlanta because Atlanta is the roots of where all this began for me. I'm originally from Anchorage, Alaska, so that's a beautiful place to get my soil, to get that going. But when it came down to being an artist, being an individual, being able to plant roots in a place that will allow you to do your thing and not, you know, in you because you're not doing the thing.
Right.
You know, that's what Atlanta gave me. You know, that red soil is something. You know, so many people have come to that clay to develop, you know, and to thrive. So I was able to sit, you know, hand in hand and with India as she was taking her process, and Donnie, and, you know, all these people, Deion Ferris, and, you know, the list goes on that, you know, being able to be part of it and have Rochelle Farrell in a little small cafe jamming out with John Roberts, you know, and Billy Odom, you know, people who might play for top artists, you know, through the year. They touring with Janet Jackson, but they live in Atlanta. So Atlanta has definitely given me an opportunity to see the authentic thing, but off stage. You know, get a taste of what it felt like before and 1 and 2 and just freed up, you know. So that's what I come from. That's where music began for me. So definitely Atlanta for that, you know. But as I come to Columbus, you know, I got a lot of artists that I saw that were very well polished and like excellent musicianship, but there wasn't like a vibe that I could feel.
Right.
Like, what I call show tunes. You know, our top artists, and everybody's covering our top artists. And while I respect it, like I say, you know, that's been an issue for me. So, you know, but then when you go home to Atlanta, you got the top cats that have made it, you know, since Yin Yang was in motion and, you know, have been able to cross over into a mainstream musical audience. And then a lot of times there, the chill of it, the Yin Yang Cafe, the way it used to be has been lost too. Everything is a lot more stage worthy, and, you know, it's upstaged. And, you know, so I know it's progression everywhere, but like the part that I love and the part that I dislike kind of go hand in hand in both of these places. One, you know, I get so much here, more organic musicianship, because there's no crowd really set to a high plateau where everybody's dressed up and got their lashes on here, but their desire for doing it is from a true place. You know, they're in it not from the audience, in it from a grunge pub place where it's 16 people in the room, but they're playing their heart out. You know, and that's what I've grown to love here, but I've also missed the enthusiasm and the camaraderie and, you know, those enchanting moments where you have no idea, you know, that Bilal was going to walk out from nowhere and just start singing Soul Sister and, you know, make you cry. You know, I miss those moments, you know, as well. So both have their pros and cons, but they prepared me for, I think, the pros and cons of music as a whole. You know, it's a vulnerable place to be in, especially when you're writing your own music and you're plucking a guitar in your own way. But it's always been so well received when it's around people who really love music, singer-songwriter conventions and, you know, all these different places. Like, I love the musicians here and they love me. But in Atlanta, I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember where that vibe went, you know, when everybody would be quiet and listen. Everybody kind of started talking over the artists the last time I was in town. So, you know, I guess I'm ready for it, like Germany or some old international thing where, you know, people come to hear it and feel something. You know, they come to.
You know,
really...
that's really interesting that you said that. I'm speaking with having another interview with a young man, and he's actually took his music to Japan, and just seeing that reception is just so it's a different thing, but
yeah,
for
sure. For sure. I have a homeboy from here that just moved to China, and, big up Unique Soul. And it's like being able to do the same thing you've been doing, but from an audience who just has a different relationship with music as a whole and musicianship. I have a different view of success than, cover girls and, those type of things where everything is for the show. That's definitely not my desire. I'm stage ready, mind you, but I still might kick my shoes off in the middle of a stage of people, whether there's 10 people, 100 people, 100,000 people, because I never want to lose the fact that we're here to take this journey together, not, see how pretty I am.
Exactly. I see exactly what you're saying. Okay, well, Jasmine, I know that you also are a fashion designer. When did you become a designer?
Well, that's what took me to Atlanta in the beginning. I went to college there in '96 and liberal arts school there that I got a degree in fashion design. So during the time of that, the journey was, when I was on that scene and met India and, went through that whole stage of what used to be yin yang there in Atlanta. That was the years that a whole lot of magic was coming through the city. It's still there, but definitely the magic that was spinning there in '96 when I moved was the same magic that people are coasting off of today. It's still profound in the world right now. But those relationships are from me, 17 years old.
Right.
So it's one of those.
Well,
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I thought you
had asked. Yeah, I was just going to say that I'll just ask you, when you are creating your designs, your fashion designs, who are you creating them for? Who do you have in mind?
Definitely. Well, in the beginning, it was it's been artists, and mainly it's been artists. Like I made clothing for people in the performing arts industry, anywhere from theater, poetry, motivational speakers, lawyers, pastors, and of course, musicians. So, it started there because that was the scene I was in. Those were the friends that I had. And because I was in college for design, I made everything I wore. So, the type of vibe that I have is one that's kind of artistic but still chic. I like things to keep a lot of elegance but to have a very unique look to them. So, it's been worn on stage, all around the world. And it's generally for those type of women who have something that they do in the world already. They have somewhere that they have to show up and take a mic or take center stage, and they need to look and feel like themselves.
Right.
So this came from that.
Okay. What would you say is your creative inspiration, or where does your creative inspiration come from when designing a garment?
Well, the individual, I have to say as well, but like the aesthetics of timeless fashion, the things that we see that are in old paintings and way things flow and fit that were like royal garb that we still see represented in different cultures today, but I take that element and I put it into something that's very functional for right now. So the aesthetics come from there, and they come from culture and, and art and time, but they also come from the individual because let's say like people who are on a label and have to tour as part of their yearly work. You need to have you don't want to have to be figuring out what am I going to wear from city to city, and stuff got to be, pressed and pulled out on a rack and, this whole team of people around you. That's not really real for most artists. Most don't even want that.
Well, Ms. Jasmine Agape, you are a trendsetter with your own unique style. What is the name of your fashion line, and how difficult is it to get your name out there in the fashion community?
Well, my name is, the wear has always been known as Agape Goddess Wear. And, for many years in Atlanta, goddess wear is always been the term. The website and the store, the fashion and music and all that combined. But in Atlanta, it really wasn't difficult, because you're making clothes for artists who are performing on stages there in the city, so it was very easy for everyone to know who made it, because there's always people in the audience, and there's one person on stage who says, I want to thank Agape, for da-da-da-da. And, so that it was never a problem as far as getting the word out, because I'm not really the kind of person that is like, I need the Project Runway in order to tell me that I can make clothes or that I can do this. I've been doing this for a long time. So for me, it's about it being channeled to the right people in the right places. Not me like really trying to go and knock down doors as much as it is make it available, and do my business and my marketing and my guerrilla marketing in, but the artist will do it for you,
Right.
Yeah, because 99% of my clientele are performing artists still to this day.
So it's pretty much like word of mouth.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
That's powerful, though, It
is, because you get the story, or you're already loving what this person has on. You're loving this person's energy already. So it's wonderful for you to be able to go, and then I know where to get something like that. And nothing is duplicated. Everything is made for the person.
Right.
So it's really an energy that you're getting, not like style number 827 or something,
Exactly. Well, and how receptive is the fashion community to your style of design?
You mean here where I am now?
Yes.
It's been good, because I used to come here. My family lives here, so I used to come here a lot when I was before I moved here, when I lived in Atlanta, and I had a nice amount of clients here that really just liked the fact that they could look different, and have things that were functional and timeless, but not everybody would have on, So it's been good for me in that realm. But I've had to be very business-minded with it, because there's not the same level of performing artists. There's not people with shows coming up and the Source Awards and the Stellar Awards and all the things come through my city in Atlanta. That's made it difficult for me, because my joy is making clothes for the individual.
Right.
Here it's like, well, what you got? I wanted to get something and wonder what you got. I'm like, well, what you want? Let's make it from scratch. I don't, what I got.
Yeah.
So that's been different for me. I do. I miss it. I miss Atlanta for that. I miss all the excitement.
Okay. Well, as a designer, do you usually come out with a line, and if do you ever do it that way? Just have several items, and if you do, how often?
Yeah, I do. I keep a collection, and like I said, most of the things that I wear can be worn throughout the year, unless you have like a heavy winter. You will have some really heavy fall, winter things. But what changes the most is the fabric. Most of my cuts of things, I'm a draper, so I make things that are made to fit on the body in such a way that they never get old. I have a jumper that I make that, every age, every body shape, you just will never, you have no idea how cute it is on you until you put it on. But I make these things that you can't even tell what it is on the rack. You have to put it on the person. So, I do collections off of how I feel. Like, I constantly change something, because I make it for me first. I'm the first woman that I'm designing for. But because I seem to have an ear to, spirit and what it is that's coming down the pike, I'm generally rocking it. And then within the next year or two, it's the biggest thing in fashion. Like J-Lo has the pants on. My mom's like, Jennifer Lopez has the pants on that you made me on the award show. Did you see those pants? No, Mommy, I didn't. The ones you make me? Yeah, I know the ones. You know what I'm saying? I know the ones. That's generally just how it is for me. So I would love to be known, by those names that are like, the Heidi Klum fashion people who are in that realm, because I really make clothes for people who have a taste for clothing, who really like have a connoisseur, like people who like wines and know how to find the best of the best. My stuff is not for people who just want to be trendy. They're for people who want to be beyond a trend, and have a look that is theirs.
Okay. Well, do you have fashion shows? And what are the pros and cons of creating a show?
Oh, fashion show. First, let me give it up to Diva Day International. My sister, Miss Nikki Mack, who is out of Atlanta. That has been my fashion team, throughout my career. Moving away has stopped so much of those things. I gave myself a break, too. But, I do miss it because the elements that I got from her, she has a fashion house. So I have models, and she's is one of my top models for my line, for my collection. But she also trains models and all that. So I probably have done well over 300-400 fashion shows. I did Fashion Week in New York, Full Figure Fashion Week in New York, maybe 5-6 years ago, something like that, if that long, I don't know. I just did Alaska Fashion Week a couple of months ago. But it's not the same because fashion shows are a lot of work. They're a lot of work. And for me, I don't like pivot, turn. I'm size 0, so I should be perfect, right? No, I like people with shape, energy. I like people who, I like for the show to go from being a model to this person having a microphone and doing a song or giving me some type of dance or, I really need the fullness of a show. Fashion alone makes me tired. I get tired. Miss Nikki knows. She has it. All that hair and makeup. I'm a person that my hair is cut bald. I rarely put on anything but a lip gloss. And, that's just, I appreciate and I love it, the glam. And when it's time to get glam, the pros and cons of it is you have to have people who know how to do their craft.
Right.
When I'm going to get my makeup done and beat my face, it's maxed up. It's shellacked. It's the stuff in case the shine hits me, in case this. It's going to take me 6 hours all day. You know what I mean? I have to remove this stuff. And here it's a lot of I'm like, where's the glitters and stuff? I'm like, hey, I need a makeup artist. So it's difficult sometimes to have the quality of model and artists that I need, because I'm also looking for women with shape and curves. I make everything from 2 to 22, and on and beyond. So it's I could definitely, I make the size 12 look better than the size 2 all day,
Okay.
So for me, coming on the scene and looking for models and doing model calls, I get a lot of women here that are just skinny. You know what I'm saying? And are at that place where, it's just it's not the thing that I need. I'm not zipping you up in a sequence type of a gown. So it's I really need women that can flow. And that makes it difficult, to get a show out for me.
Right.
That makes it difficult, but it also is the fun part about it. I kind of miss that. In Atlanta, just the opportunity to have fashion shows and not have to pull all those pieces together because Miss Nikki had them together for me already,
Yeah, I see. Well, Jasmine Agape, you are a mother and you're an entrepreneur and artist. So tell me, how do you juggle the responsibilities of motherhood while running your fashion business and being an artist also?
You know, it's a difficult task. You know, I think any woman who wears as many hats as I do would definitely understand, because there's the level of responsibility and expectation that you have to achieve in all these different areas. You know, you have yourself set to a standard of a level of excellence. So it is difficult to be sure that you feel like you're doing good in all areas. But I feel like I do it well. I do a pretty good job. My children are great. You know, I have excellent children. You know, and I moved here for them to be able to kind of have some time to do their thing. They've lived in mommy's world and mommy's dream in Atlanta for, you know, all their life. So, you know, gave them a different opportunity. And I just got married recently, about 4 months ago.
Congratulations.
So, thank you so much. And, you know, he's an awesome father, very good with the children. We have a daughter on the way, you know, due in December. So it is a lot for me to still feel like myself and make sure that I'm doing all the things that need to be going on in the house. So it takes a lot of discipline, and it takes a lot of just staying in tune to yourself and not losing sight of the fact that I still have to do what it is that makes me happy, because then everybody else is happy. You know,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
so
how do your children feel when they see you in videos and stuff like that? When they see
they love it. They love it. You know, they're used to it too. It's funny because, you know, now that they're growing up and they're old enough to express themselves and be in situations where, like my middle son, Majesty, just played one of the leads in The Wizard of Oz. He was a Tin Man in a play this summer, and I mean, did phenomenal. I'm talking about sang a song, did his dance, knew every line. I mean, you know, he had a poise that was amazing. You know, my other son goes to an arts preparatory college here, academy, that is, you know, it's amazing. Like, he's self-taught piano player, moving. His music is moving. You know, it's that kind of thing that makes you tugs at your heart, and making his own songs and stuff. He was in the play as well. My daughter, she's an all-out, you know, songstress, sing, dance, whatever, just fearless. You know, so I appreciate that. I see how much them being around it and having had the life that they've had too in Atlanta, and it created a different, more of a solid person. They definitely aren't the ones that are trying to sag their pants and be cool or be like so-and-so, because, like, you know, they've been around India and things like that since they were little babies. So they know, oh, that's Auntie on TV. Oh, I know that song. Oh, that's my Uncle Donnie on TV. Or, you know, that's Liz Wright. Oh, I know her. I know that song. And this is as little kids. So there's never been a thing between the television screen and real life, and the stage and real life for them. And it's really unlocked a lot of doors for them.
Okay. Well, that's awesome, girl. The creativity is in the blood.
Oh, yeah. They always say, Mommy, when I go out and do a song or something, they always say, Mommy, rock the house. Rock the house, Mommy. Since they were little kids, rock the house, Mommy.
Oh, that's so sweet, girl. Well, and I'm sure your next little girl is going to be creative, too. I'm sure.
Oh, I'm quite sure. Yes, her father's an artist as well. So, you know, it's definitely going to be one of those things that they get a head start.
Do you know that?
No, I have no idea. Normally, I choose the names, but I know that he wants to, I don't know. He's very involved with the naming process, so I'm just kind of waiting to see what we agree on and what comes up, because ultimately, you know, it'll come. It's her name. It's out there somewhere. I haven't really been looking for it. I haven't been wondering, but it's going to come. It's going to be beautiful. All my children's names are some beautiful names.
Yeah. Well, great. Tell me this. If someone's wanting to start a career in fashion, what advice would you give them? And also, if they wanted to be an aspiring artist, what would you give? What advice would you give for an artist or a fashion designer?
Both of them, I would definitely say, hone your gift, hone your craft, because the thing that's going to make you a success is to not go in trying to copy someone else, but to go in setting the standard for what it is that you bring to the table. That's the thing that I've noticed that you have to have, no matter what, is something that you're connected to. Like, my style doesn't change up because of what else is going on that other people are doing. The energy comes down the pike through emotion. The ideas come in your dreams, and so make sure to hone what it is that you bring to the table. And when you go off to school and you go off into, the trenches to learn and develop, be willing to take in everything and be willing to let go of whatever doesn't fit you and doesn't suit you. If all you took from it was how to put in the zipper, that's your thing that you keep, because you may not want to make tuxedo jackets. You may not want to do that, but you take in all that it is that they have to offer and you tweak it, to fit the vision that is yours.
Okay.
And that goes for both, whatever it is, fashion, music, all of it is introducing the world to who you are.
Okay. Well, what 3 things would you tell them that are must-dos daily in order to be successful in either area?
You definitely make sure to tap into the thing that it is that brings you joy, that creative aspect. Do something that waters it, every single day. Every day. If it's to play the guitar, make sure you touch that guitar, you strum that guitar, you play your 20 minutes, you whatever that is, you sing your song, you draw, you look in your magazines, something that brings the energy up for you. Second, be sure to find a way to package what it is that you're doing. Make sure that every time you make something, you're on the next step. Who is this for? How is this feasible and functional for the world at large? If it's an Etsy site and you put it up there, if it's your Facebook page and you take a picture there and, get a feedback, express it to the world. Make sure to let people know what you're doing. Don't just sit on it. And third would be to continuously be fearless and know that you're trying only to keep topping yourself. You're not in competition with anything but the last great thing that you did. Keep topping yourself. Stay out there, because that's where you really learn it and where you find your clientele and you find fans that love your music is by steady on the grind. So definitely get out, and lift the way on.
Well, excellent. Excellent advice. You there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, good. I was making sure. Okay, well, let me tell you, where do you see your career and your brand in the next 5 years?
That's a good question, because this has been these 5 years that I'm in right now. Starting with this year, have been ones of doing what I was talking about as far as the packaging and taking it from the word of mouth and the way that it was and getting it to a place where it's way more accessible, and I want to do magazine shoots. I want to work with some of these photographers that are great friends of mine and start pushing the store. My friend Liz has her website, and we're doing a whole launch where the fashion shoot connected to my webpage, many different artists that I've been in contact with recently who are about to release albums within the next year and 2 years, being able to work diligently to have it packaged well. Because it used to be you had to know me and you come to me, we work it out. But I want to get to where it could be people in, Japan, Argentina, who have never met me but can click on this site and be able to get the experience of what it is that these clothing and that this music does. So the next 5 years, while raising the baby and doing that thing, I'm definitely focused on honing my craft. I've been building my guitar skills, taking lessons, getting this new web store stocked, and dealing with my fabrics and my textiles and getting things stocked and colors ready and things so that when orders begin to come in, as they do whenever I have my website up, it's something that I can say, yes, there's, 20 of this, there's 15, there's 35 of that, because that's never been the way I've done it in the past. So this next 5 years is about getting it to where things can kind of take on a new life and a bigger level of existence, because the album will be out next year, and the clothing doesn't have to change. Everything is in timeless. It's just making it more accessible to people who may not get to meet me. Okay. That's really where my mindset is for right now for the next 5 years.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. Tell me this, if you were to leave your stamp on the world, what 3 things would you want the world to remember about you?
That she was dynamic, the sister that, that what I am in fashion and style, was an icon. What I do is timeless. I'm not dressed to fit in. What the stamp I make in fashion is definitely one that's a legacy that my family has kept. I come from women in fashion. I come from, my grandma used to be in the newspaper for what she had on, and, both of them, in Alaska. So I come from a legacy of fashion. So definitely that, and the style that I kept alive, I would love for that to be something that is laid there for other people to continue forward, so that these things don't get lost in, saggy jeans and hot pants. Okay. We want to make sure that legacy is kept. And as far as the music, something that will be played forever, things that when you hear this CD and you hear that voice, it's something that catches you and holds a part of you that sometimes feels voided, feels lonely, feels like it doesn't have a voice. I definitely want the legacy that's left alive for me in music to be one of people being able to get real with themselves and be able to play it in their car, play it to themselves, and get exactly the level of empowerment that was intended to be given to man and woman. Just that the legacy for that continues, because we get lost sometime in the woes of the day, that we forget sometimes the woes of our spirit, and what it is that we're here to accomplish on a higher level. So that for sure. And then for me, I'm also a minister. I don't do anything really in traditional church settings, but I am Reverend Dr. Jasmine Pennywell, and I took that journey because for me it's about helping and healing, and about me healing me for one, but also leaving a legacy for young ladies and that can follow the steps of finding who you are and tapping into the power of who you are as an individual. So those things are like interwoven into everything that I do, but definitely in those 3 different areas, I want to make sure that the life's work gets played, gets worn, gets seen, and continues to be viable. Like the way Nina Simone is viable right now, today. We need those songs. That came from a revolution that a lot of us never saw, but it's still so viable. The music of Fela Kuti is viable, and we're still healing and growing from it, today. And these people have left the planet. So definitely my desire is to do such.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out for this interview today. I really appreciate it. You gave me a very deep insight to you and just what you're all about, and I just look forward to talking more and learning about your ministry. I had no idea. I would love to have more information about that, so we will definitely keep in touch. But I want you to, for all those who want to get in touch with you, check out your music, maybe even order some clothing from you, how can they call you, get in touch, text, whatever?
Yeah, definitely. I'm welcome to all of that. You can email me at agapegwear@gmail, and that's AGAPE, the letter G, WEAR @gmail. You can also call my my line that's for booking, which is 678-508-9387. And, you know, Facebook is always great, and J. Pennywell on Facebook. You can find Cosmic Blue, Cinnamon Sweets. All of those things will get you directly to me.
Okay. Well, awesome. Thank you again. And this has been Jasmine Agape Pennywell interviewing with me, Matrice Jeter, and she was just wide open and honestly spoken. And we're out.
All right. Thank you so much. Peace to you.
Miss Drama think I want the fame. You can tell by my Jesus piece that I'm married to the game. Would I have jumped up on that plane and interviewed with you if I wasn't up on my game? That's the story of my life.